Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. A lawsuit challenging 2020 election results in New Jersey is now before the U.S. Supreme Court. We spoke with Hirsh Singh, who filed the lawsuit and is also a candidate for governor in the Republican primary. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. Let's talk about your lawsuit that may be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court, where you're challenging the election results, all election results in New Jersey, as unconstitutional. Let's start with explaining what your grounds are exactly.
Well, first of all, great to be here, Larry, and it's great to see you again. So ever since the primary ended, we have been in the courts across the entire state. Now we're in the U.S. Supreme Court. And what we're challenging is the fact that Governor Murphy used an executive order to make us use vote by mail in 2020. And that vote by mail normally could have been done, except that the legislature never codified it into the primary. So it violated Article 2, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, very similar to the type of violations that occurred in other states. And that is now in the U.S. Supreme Court. That's one count. The second one being that universal vote by mail violates the Freedom of Information Act, a federal law which would allow for us to see the chain of custody once a ballot is created, once it's signed and sent back into the system. Right now, there's no transparency function. There is for someone who requests an absentee ballot, and there is for someone who is a military overseas ballot. But with regarding universal vote by mail, I think that large and large, it is a travesty. It has destroyed the ability for the American people to accept the results. And because of that, our U.S. Supreme Court case could very well invalidate all federal elections. So not the local elections, but all of our 12 congressional races and our U.S. Senate race that happened in 2020. I think they're going to be invalidated, and they're going to have to come back if the justices do their job. They do the right thing.
I should point out, and we didn't lead with that only because this case is in the U.S. Supreme Court and it has such ramifications. You are running for governor. You are running for governor in the Republican primary. We talked to Jack Ciattarelli, and I said, when I brought you up, I said, are you going to debate the other candidates in the race? And he just said, I'm focused on Governor Murphy. And when I asked him again, he smiled and said, I'm focused on Governor Murphy. I took that as a no. How do you break through with Jack Ciattarelli, who has so many endorsements across the state and seems to be the front runner by a lot?
Yeah, so endorsements don't win elections. What wins elections are the people. In 2020, just this last year, I got 148,000 votes statewide, with only 4 counties supporting me being on the endorsed line. With that 148,000 votes, we actually did not count over 90,000 votes in the state. So if you look at history, 2017, Jack Ciattarelli ran for governor, and he spent $2.3 million. And in all 21 counties, he got 73-ish thousand votes. That's less than half of what I got. And if you actually remove the 4 counties that endorsed me, Ocean County, Atlantic, Cumberland, and Cape May, I still got 88,000 votes. So, they're really trying hard. The rhino establishment that stabbed President Trump in the back, they're fully pushing Jack Ciattarelli. And I've been supportive of the president. I was over at the in Capitol Hill on January 6th. It was a peaceful, completely peaceful protest at the Washington Monument, where the majority of people were while President Trump spoke. And what happened on the Capitol, which was 1.7 miles away, that was a completely different thing. I totally disavow any violence, and any Trump supporter would disavow any violence, especially against law enforcement. And so, I think that what you have here in New Jersey in 2021 is going to be Americans that believe in making America great versus the rhino establishment that stabbed President Trump in the back. And Jack Ciattarelli is the poster boy. He is the mascot of everything that is swampy in our state and in our country. And I represent the people. I'm just a South Jersey boy. I'm 35 years old, and I have the most powerful conservative organization that the state has ever seen. And I have probably the most powerful campaign. We're going to dominate this race. It's not even going to be close.
You sound a lot like Donald Trump as you're talking about rhinos and the swampiness, and that the election I don't think you're saying it's rigged, but you thought it was unconstitutional, at least the way it was held in New Jersey. Doug Steinhardt was very close with Donald Trump and introduced him at his rally in South Jersey. Right after the riots at the Pentagon, he dropped out of the race because I think he thought this isn't good to be a pro-Trump candidate. You seem to be still embracing it. Do you believe that's going to work for you?
Actually, that is not at all why Chairman Steinhardt dropped out. He's a very good guy. I actually respected the fact that we had another conservative in the race. Okay. The thing about Doug was that he actually was attacked in a very vicious manner. He is in a law firm with a bunch of Democrat partners, one of them being ex-Governor Florio. And there was basically a bunch of back channeling that came down where they threatened to kill his livelihood if he stayed in the race. So what you have is the ugliest part of politics, where people will attack your personal life. And that's why he had to drop out of the race, because he had to take care of his family.
So the timing was just a coincidence, because we did try to talk to him and he was turning down all interviews at the time. You've talked to him. You know this for a fact, that his timing and everything was just a coincidence?
I know this for a fact because he was considering it before the rally even happened, because of the politics, and this is, it rests at the feet of those supporting Jack Ciattarelli. They're the ones that are doing this. And here's the thing. If Jack Ciattarelli is our nominee, we're going to lose New Jersey for the first time in 40 years. You'll have a two-term Democrat governor.
How about Joe Rullo, the other candidate in the race? Is he a conservative?
Rullo's a very good guy. He is a staunch conservative. I know when he was young, he was a Democrat, but he has definitely been one of the movers behind Ocean County remaining Republican for many, many years. So he's a very good guy. And honestly, I think he has the largest social media following in the entire state.
You ran against Rick Mehta for Senate in the primary and lost to Rick Mehta. Do you expect Rick Mehta to jump into this race? There's some rumors about that.
I have no problem. He can do whatever he wants. He's a loser. He's, he was a lifelong Democrat. He was put into the race for one purpose: to protect Cory Booker. His entire campaign staff left him after he got through the primary. And that was specifically because he was handpicked just to run against me to stop real conservatives from having victories in New Jersey.
He's also suing you and a news organization for allegedly the two of you colluding against him in the Senate election. Could you talk about your role in that and how you defend yourself on this?
There's nothing really to defend. That case is going to be dismissed. It's frivolous. It's nonsense. And he's just doing his best to try and do some damage. But sad fact is he is the type of person who tries to buy elections. And that type of characteristic does not sit well with Republicans. The real Americans need to stand up, get involved in politics, run for office, volunteer, do whatever you need to do. I mean, HirshSingh.com. Check out my website. Join us. We have hundreds of volunteers right now, and in the next 2 weeks, we'll have thousands.
Hirsh Singh, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hirsh Singh, Republican candidate for governor. Still to come on Jersey Matters, we'll tell you about an organization that is a guardian angel for nonprofits struggling during the pandemic. That's next.